Hi there, professional writers. Welcome to the final week of professional writing online. So today I'm going to be talking about revisions and Google Sites, and hopefully these will be the last few videos that I upload and that you need. Okay, let's talk about revision first. So in the original plan for the course, I was going to have you trade work with other people in the course and have peer critiques too, and you're going to give each other feedback, but we're kind of out of time and I'm worried about communication, and so I'm eliminating that bit of the assignment. So basically what you need to do is revise the material yourself. So you're going to look at all the stuff you've written all semester, from your mission statements to your letters to your procedures to this final white paper, and you're going to revise it and you're going to make everything super perfect. And then you're going to include it in a final portfolio. Okay? Let's talk about how to revise first. All right. So here's the revision and grammar review. All right, if you haven't done so already, and only 6 of you have done this, before we get into it today, I want you to go to your email and find the email from Maury Pelto or Andrew Smith about course evaluations and complete the course evaluation. For me, it should only take you 10 minutes, I'm hoping. So pause the video, do that, and then come back, okay? All right, so when revising your professional writing, there are a couple important elements that you need to pay attention to, and these will be familiar. We've been talking about them all session. You need to look at the purpose of your document. You need to think about your audience, your tone, and then think about the formatting and organization. And those are the higher order concerns. Once you've addressed those and you're really happy with purpose, audience, tone, and formatting and organization, you can move to thinking about conciseness and clarity, your visuals or graphics, and your grammar. Okay? So these are listed in order of importance, but you should get to all of them. Okay, when you're thinking about the purpose and revising for the purpose of your paper, here are some questions to think about. What is your message? What are you communicating to your readers? What do you want them to do? What do you want them to do after reading the document? Do you want them to be happy or sad or complete something or whatever? Make sure that your reader has adequate reasons to be convinced to think like you do. Don't just say they should do something, you got to give them reasons. And include details that can strengthen your position, that can make your position even more convincing to your reader. Okay? So write these down, keep these in mind when you're revising your documents. All right, when thinking about your audience, think about who is your audience. Is it going to be everyone? Everyone online? Just your employees? Just your customers? Just your stakeholders? Who is this audience that you're writing to? What do you want your audience to get out of your document? Do you want them to do something? Do you want them to be convinced of something? Do you want them to buy from you? What do you want from them? What questions do you think your audience will have that you can anticipate and then answer for them? And then, what will my reader think about this document? Will the reader think that I'm professional and I know what I'm doing after reading this document? Or will they think I'm sloppy and I don't really know what I'm doing? Preferably the former, okay? So make sure your document looks good and looks professional and really speaks to the audience's needs. Okay, when thinking about tone, make sure your document is tactful and it avoids implying the reader is dishonest or careless or stupid. All right, any time that you even suspect that might be the case, you want to revise. You want to revise to change the tone and to be less accusatory and more giving the benefit of the doubt. Does your document provide detail adapted to the reader's needs? Make sure you cut anything that the reader doesn't need to know or might not care about. You want to make it all about the reader's needs. Does it achieve the you attitude? Remember what the you attitude is? It is keeping the reader at the forefront of your mind, okay? And make sure it uses positive language whenever possible. This isn't always possible, especially given the no letter, but hopefully it's mostly possible in all your other instances. Once you're happy with the purpose and the audience and the tone, think about the formatting and organization of your paper or your document. What are the formatting conventions? Letters have different rules and conventions than memos, and memos have different rules and conventions than white papers. You want it to be immediately recognizable. It's the same as like showing up to an interview in a suit. You don't want to show up to an interview in sweatpants, just like you don't want your letter to look like sloppy, or like a memo, okay, or an email even. You want to make sure it fits the convention. Make sure you keep in mind the best organization of the particular document. Remember, with yes letters, you want to tell them the good news right away, but with bad news letters or no letters, you want to bury that decision later after you've given the explanation, okay? So, do you want to have a direct approach or more of an indirect approach? And does your document logically progress from point to point? You want to make sure that stuff that goes together is together and is not interrupted by material that should go later, okay? After you've done that and you're happy with your formatting and your organization, then look at each individual sentence to make sure it's clear and concise. Look at the sentence. What words in each sentence can you take out? What are vague words that you should replace with more specific details? And what are some overwritten sentences or sentences that are just have too many words in them or are too flowery that you can make more direct, okay? You don't want to circle around the topic in professional writing. You want to get right to the point. Make it direct. After you're happy and you've looked at every single sentence in your document, then think about visuals. And remember, visuals, there's actually, you're going to look at the visuals in all your documents. They become especially important with the last two, the procedure and the white paper, but they're important to all of them, and you use your logo and you use graphics even in the letters, even in the press release, even in your mission statement, okay? So look at your visuals. What is one place where you should rearrange some of your visuals to put elements that go together closer together? What is one place where you can align your elements along one alignment instead of having them anywhere, just put willy-nilly, okay? What is one important element you can repeat strategically? Usually this is a logo. And finally, what is one place to use contrast to make important points stand out? And how are you going to use contrast? Are you going to use colors? Are you going to use size? Are you going to use font? How are you going to use contrast to really make your important points pop at the reader? Once you're good on that, then think about grammar. And these are all the kinds of grammar we've talked about throughout the session. We talked about commas. You studied and looked at sentence fragments, active and passive, comma splices, parallel structure, apostrophes, subject-verb agreement, misplaced modifiers, pronoun agreement, and pronoun reference. Okay, if you need a refresher on any of these, just go back. They should all be relatively fresh since this is only a 7-week course. Okay, So remember, grammar is the last thing you do, but it's just as important as anything else. You don't want your tie to be mistied when you go to your interview, okay? Think of this as the final touch. Okay. All right. So I'm 10 minutes in. I'm going to end the video here, and I'm going to start another video talking about Google Sites, how to make a Google site, and how to upload your documents to a Google site to make sure that I can view them and grade them. Okay?